I have a friend who was thinking about starting his own business, and now that he's seen Brunetta and me doing this, he decided he doesn't want to run his own business anymore.
Well, he's not much of an entrepreneur, I guess. I guess he thought it was going to be a side hustle. Uh, hey, just mail it in, set it up, and and forget it.
Yeah, well, it's thanks. It's it's a tough life, no matter how you slice it. Barrett, are you there? He's muted and his screen is off. So, no, oh, that's great. Thank you, honey. Oh, all right. So in theory, Barrett's there, but oh,
I can turn it off.
I just unmuted him. Hey, Barrett.
Hello? Yeah.
you there?
Hey, man. How's it going?
How's it going? Yeah, we're in the car coming back from Waffle House. So.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
awesome. I think it's just gonna be, me, Dylan, and you and Dawn.
Okay.
That could be it.
I guess no one else cares. I care.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Let's do this. Barrett, I don't know how much you know about Dylan, so can we ask Dylan to maybe just give the Reader's Digest of his background and how he got started in Fit Body, and then go into his journey to the past 7 months.
All right, cool. So the abbreviated version is I was in finance for 16 years. I taught finance on the side. I taught fitness on the side, group fitness, starting in 1997, something like that. And I got laid off in 2014. I had my own boot camp business that I started, just a little, mom and pop, just a pop thing. And I got the opportunity to open another club. We opened it. My financial backer decided he would rather have a tax write-off, so that got closed very quickly. And I met up with another guy. We opened a Fit Body boot camp, down in Scarsdale, New York, which is about 45 minutes from where I am right now. And my wife and I decided we wanted to move to Connecticut and open our own. So we bought the franchise in April of 18, and we opened in March of 19. So it was 11 months.
We were at university with them.
So
Yeah.
You might as well mute it. So that's sort of the long and the short of it. It's been a very difficult road. I don't know if I would do it again. I have a feeling there's a reason why people who are in their 50s generally don't have children, and that's because you just don't have the energy that you used to. I think entrepreneurship is sort of the same way. No matter what anybody says, we're tired. I'd love to be 20 years younger and doing this. So we opened with a challenge. We opted out of HQ's thing. Doesn't matter now because it's non-existent. We ran all of our own stuff. I have a marketing guy that did everything for us. And we opened with 130, 140 challengers. And I'd say about 125 of those actually came in the doors and started the challenge. And we closed about somewhere just south of 80% of them. So we opened with whatever that is, 90 members, something like that. We were very fortunate to get up so quickly. We did a 6-week challenge, and the 6th week, and this is something you should really pay attention to because we didn't. The 6th week was spring break for the local town of Wilton, and so everybody's like, "Oh, well, I'm going away. I'm gonna miss it." So we just kept rolling them and giving them another week, and it was not the best. I should have timed it better, although I'm learning. So we had a second challenge after that in May. It was very small in comparison. Not a great demographic. We got some good people out of it, but our closing percentage was well under 50%. Part of it was because we were just simply overwhelmed. It was just the two of us, as my wife and myself, working and doing everything. And So we ran through the summer, and sort of fast forward, we're doing the 10-week challenge right now from HQ. And we started with 120 members, probably down in the 80s now, something like that. Fewer than that are actually continuing to check in. And we're hoping most of our members, most of our challengers are members. Probably a good 70 plus 75 of them or something were members, and the rest were non-members, either prior trials or people brand new off the street. So that's the basic down and dirty. We're pushing 200 members now. We're getting very close. We had a lot of attrition in the last 2 months. Probably 15 to 18 people have fallen off for one reason or another. Financial issues. One woman just ghosted us. That's what the kids are saying, from what I understand. People moving, things just happen. But it was a lot of events happened, and we're trying to get back to where we were. It's sort of, we're hitting a ceiling. And I think part of it is because we are not servicing people as well as we should be. And part of it is because we have grown so quickly that we need to hire, and we're looking to do that right now. So that's the gist. Barrett, you had some more specific questions. You had messaged me. So rather than me droning on for however long until you guys get bored of me, you and your wife get bored of me, just go ahead and just ask questions, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Or we can stare at a blank screen, and I can go, oh, there you are. I was gonna say, I can go have a drink or something. You know, we're done with work for today. So go ahead, Barrett, hit it.
No, I was just curious about the, the struggle of my main concern is we own multiple businesses, so this isn't our first rodeo, but with the whole concept of like a subscription-based service, we're not used to that. We own a marketing company. We do decorated apparel. We have collegiate licensing. We do movie and television. We've never done anything that's so micro. Everything we do is macro. It's big.
Yeah.
And I was just looking for any sort of pointers on how to go ahead and do it in a small local community. Does that make sense?
The marketing aspect?
Yes.
So I'll give you two answers. The first answer is you've got to learn it yourself. And it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate, or you've got to get a fantastic marketing guy that you can trust. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Now, if you're not in fitness, so for example, when we opened in Scarsdale, my partner Jim and I both had our own followings, right? Mm-hmm. I had, I don't know, 20 people who followed me around, and Jim had another 20. So when we opened our doors, we had 40 people who wanted in immediately. So we didn't do a lot of marketing. It was all word of mouth, because we had tried marketing and we had done a terrible job, and the guys that we hired were not good. We actually hired Carlo. We had used Fitness Marketer for a while, and that did not work out well. Then we used HQ's stuff for a little while, and that didn't work out well, but we really honestly had no idea what we were doing. So, but the other thing is, so on the one hand, you've got to get a marketer. If you're good at Facebook marketing, if you're good at placing ads, creating funnels, setting up Stripe, targeting, retargeting, if you're good at that, God bless you. Otherwise, spend the freaking money and go and get somebody good. There's a lot of good people out there. I love my guy. I wouldn't trade him. He's expensive, but I wouldn't trade him for the world. And the other thing is that if you provide a level of care and service and love, and provide an experience that is literally world class, and I'm not throwing that or those words around lightly. Yeah. If you can do that as well, the referrals will come, especially if there isn't another game. I don't. What town are you in?
We're in Suwannee. It's
Northeast Metro Atlanta. So
Northeast Metro Atlanta. Okay. So if people have experienced Fit Body Boot Camp before, if there's one within 30 miles even, they may have a sense of what you are. But when we came in, there was not, ironically, we opened, and then 4 months later, a burn boot camp opened less than 2 miles away.
yeah, we got a burn right down the road from us.
Perfect.
We also have not to interrupt, we also have another Fit Body that they sold 3 miles down the road from us, and they're already open. And so I'm basically competing with them.
Right.
And the fortunate part is I'm going to have to kill them because they're so close.
Who do you know who owns the other Fit Body?
I don't.
So, hey, this is Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
The couple that owns the other Fit Body, I actually have been a member of a Fit Body here since February of 2017, the day they opened, and it's closer to our house. We're open in our location about 25 minutes south of where we live, closer to the city of Atlanta, but it's still outside of, they call it the perimeter.
Right.
The other couple, the wife was a member of Buford Fit Body Boot Camp.
Oh, I know. I think we know who owns that one. That's the guy from, I'm sorry, that's the guy from Domination, right? Brunetta? Yeah. All right, whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, Shay Diggs and his brother Chi Diggs.
That's them.
Yeah, they own, yeah, we won't get into the whole thing behind that because that was kind of a mergers and acquisition thing. The people that originally opened that location are the ones that opened Tequila, and that's where we all were at. Quan met the owners of Tequila, Teresa and Michelle. So
I know them. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but the wife of the couple that opened the place 3 miles from us, she was a member at Buford. And Shay said he tried to help her out a little bit, and he went to see the facility, and then he was trying to help her out a little bit, and then they just kind of cut him off. So we were actually at university with you.
Oh, yeah? Whoa, that was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. We bought in February of 2018 when we bought into the franchise.
Jesus.
But we have had
a long process.
Yeah, we've had a disaster of a build out. We couldn't find a decent general contract. We finally signed our lease in August of last year. We started looking and found properties starting in May of last year. But anyways, so our thing is, you know, I know you've been on a call before and said something about challenges. Don't do back-to-back challenges and all that kind of jazz. So maybe we can touch on that detail.
Yeah, it's my wife, my business partner and wife.
Hey.
Can I work now?
Yes.
She has a lot of insight, and I'm sure she'll chime in. So when we did our first challenge, it really sucked the wind out of us. We didn't provide the level of care that we wanted. We didn't get the results for the people that we wanted, because we didn't have a cogent nutrition plan. We didn't have the bandwidth to sit down and meet with them the way we should have and would have liked to. They loved the experience. They loved the workouts. So we were very lucky to do that. So that ended basically it was it was supposed to end the third week. Oh, hi. It was supposed to end the third week in April of 19, and we let it go till basically May 1st. And then right about the same time, we did another 4-week challenge to capture some more people, because the problem one of the reasons that we did it is because we ended right on Memorial Day.
Okay.
So the summer's quiet, so we wanted to try to snare in as many people as we could. And listen, the deed is done, whatever, it's over. What I would have done if I had to do it over again is I would have gone out with an LBO and really pimped that big time, and then part of the problem is that we've got all these new people who just joined our challenge, who we got from our first challenge. And then we got this wave of other new people. So they weren't even used to us. They were like, what the hell's going on? There's so many people here. Because we only had 2 morning sessions at the time, and the 5:30 a.m. got to be packed, and people were like, what's going on? This is ridiculous. So there was a lot of, we built up a little bit of bad will. We were fortunate to work around it, and most of those people are still with us. But that was, we were not prepared to love up 90 brand new members and then immediately give even more love to another stable. It was probably, I don't know, what would you say, 60 people? Something like 60 people. It completely overwhelmed us. And you know, we work hard. We work really hard, but it was just too much for us. And I had said to Quan, I don't know, maybe it was at Mastermind, if I had to do it all over again, one of the things I would have done was brought on a coach way earlier, and that was a big mistake on our part. But I didn't expect it. I was hoping to get to 100 members by the end of the summer, and we, you know, went flying through that in May. So the growth was faster than I expected, and there was more work than I expected. It was too overwhelming. And then we had good success over the summer. We had a lot of people sign up in the summer. Now, one of the things I would tell you guys is I sort of lost you when you were the internet went out a little bit. So you had said that the people that are 3 miles from you, do you or do you not have a good relationship with them?
We don't know them at all.
Okay. So the reason I bring it up, we should see. Quan, you know more people than I do. You should take a look for them and see if you know who that is, because you have a bigger network than I do. But one of the other mastermind members, a guy named Matt, he had another Fit Body open within spitting distance, 7 miles, 6 miles, something like that. And the new Fit Body immediately undercut him and was charging way below market rate when people knew Fit Body. So he had people, I think it was, I don't know if it was 20%, but it was a substantial number of people leave him immediately to go to the new place. And so I'm listening to his conversation as a current owner. That's my thought process. And I'm listening to him talk about it, and he's he's been open for 4 years or so. So what he had said was, he went to the guy, I think it's a couple, and said, look, we'll help you, because there's another Fit Body nearby. We'll help you. We'll all do this together. People know what Fit Body is. There's no reason to charge $99 to open. Start charging at $147, because Matt is at $197. So people would have saved $50 off of Matt's price, which would have been very, very reasonable. And there wouldn't have been this bad blood. Now there's bad blood between them. So long story short, if it were me, if somebody were opening 3 miles from me, I would go to them, or I would want them to come to me and have a conversation. Look, we can destroy each other, or we can help each other. You share things, you both offer great experiences, and you can both raise your prices, and you can both burn. So that's what we want.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to feed your family, you got to take care of your business, right? If the person's unreasonable, there's lots of jerks that are running Fit Body boot camps. So you got to do what you got to do. But it's worth having that conversation. And if Quan knows who it is, then that might serve as an introduction.
Yeah, they should be really happy with us, because they're not marketing at all. And we have sent them, excuse my language, a fuck ton of customers to them, because
really?
People are thinking that our advertising is them.
So what we've ended up having to do is we've added a lot into our advertising of our address, like where we're located. We're at the intersection of here and here. We are coming to the intersection of here and here. Look for our banners at the intersection of here and here. So that's actually helped us a lot. And we've actually had a few people touch base with us on the direct message end of things and say, hey, we were going over here, but it's a little further from home. When are you guys going to open up? Now, there's another location that has already been established for quite a few years that's probably 6 miles from us. And, but that couple owns another location that is newer to them, that is in a different demographic that they've concentrated more time into. And I honestly think they're looking at phasing the location that's closer to us out because they don't want to upgrade it. They don't want to put the money into it to the 4.0 standard. And it's, the dollar mirror's all worn out. I mean, they've still got a really good following, but they've kind of left that location to go to the other zip code that they've built out. So we do have quite a few people that have touched base with us and said, hey, I used to go to Duluth, but you guys are, closer to me or closer to my work or whatever. When are you going to be opening and that kind of thing? And then there's a lot of people that are just shopping for a deal. The couple that does own the one that's 6 miles from us that's established, they've watered down the brand quite a bit money-wise. They do run the whole 21 days for $21 thing from time to time and all kinds of, and so it's like, when you water down the brand, then somebody's going to come to you and say, I want the same thing for the same price. Well, once they see our location, because we do design for a living, our place is pretty souped up. I mean, we aren't a basic gym. We had to boutique this out to be in the metro Atlanta area. So it is a little fancier. It's going to be a little fancier.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Just because I want to stay on task and really focus on Dylan's success and his progression.
Yeah.
And Dylan, you made a great point about Matt Rarig, and when I heard his story too, I happened to know the nearby owner that basically charged $97 charter memberships, and he literally, I think he lost close to 100 members, which was like a punch in the face. Now, he was able to recover within a month and be almost back to where he started. So that speaks volumes about him. But when I came across that scenario, I thought to myself, okay, I'm a new owner, and if I am, fortunate enough to get to where he is, somebody else might open up fairly close to me and do the same thing. And how do I avoid that? So what I did was I reached out to the owners near me and I said, look, you have to come with a giving hand and say, look, I'm opening with a challenge, and I made a commitment that I'm not going to offer charter memberships lower than what the regular memberships are if they are a current Fit Body member there. But that requires good communication, honesty, and saying, hey, and a lot of times the clients will offer that information unsolicited. And if you ask them, their first reaction will be to be honest. And I don't expect that to be a ton of people, but and my charter memberships are not going to be 97 versus the surrounding locations of surrounding me are at maybe 147 regular memberships, right? So I don't think I'm going to have that big of an issue. But for you, Dawn and Barrett, I think it would go a long way for you to build a relationship with them and say, look, let's support each other, because if you don't build that relationship, then you guys are going to be just sort of doing what's best for you and reacting to them and back and forth. But if you have a relationship with them, a friendship, you can actually be very, very helpful to one another,
Yeah, I was actually going to say basically the same thing. It makes a lot of sense to, number one, reach out to the place that's 3 miles away. Number two, reach out to the other place that you think might be closing. And if you can build a relationship with the one that's 3 miles away, oh, Zach, hey. So you could always essentially divide and conquer that other location that is opening. The other thing I would say is that whenever anybody opts in, and this is something we started to do when we first opened and didn't continue because we were so swamped, we were getting so many names, call every single person that opts in. Literally take the time and say, hey, we're not open yet. This is our location. Make sure that you differentiate yourself. But that level of service of telling them, hey, excuse me, showing them the love immediately. And this is stupid but true. If you're sitting at your computer and you get an email, call them. Stop whatever you're doing, call them right away. And you'll hear them say, oh, I just signed up. And then you can say, well, we were excited. I was working and I saw your name pop in and I got really excited for you. I wanted to reach out quickly. So those are the sort of things that you can do. Quan's raising his hand. Go ahead, Quan.
No, this is no, it's amazing. I love what you just said about like instantaneous contact, because I think we have a tendency to think that, oh, well, let's give it a little while, but honestly, there's really no reason to wait at all.
No.
Right. And Zach just joined, and I want him to hear this, and I want to ask you a question, you know, because you've been talking about really providing the love, right? So explain to us what that means when you say, you know, just love up everybody. You know, from the time that they opt in to the time they just decide to become a member full time. What does that mean to you? What does that?
So it starts with as soon as they opt in, you reach out to them. You express your interest in them. You tell them what the process entails. They have no idea what's going on. So what Bernetta will do is she will, when she gets information in, generally she'll call. She'll send an email and she'll text. So she'll tell the process. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to email you a link. You're going to fill out that. We call it a health and wellness form. It's a waiver. We fill out the health and wellness form so we can get to know you and what your fitness goals are. So she explains the process. Then you'll come in about 15 minutes early to your first session. We'll sit down, we'll have an orientation. And at the orientation, she explains the do's and the don'ts, how to get in touch with us, how the workouts work. Eventually, we are shifting towards once a week or twice a week orientations. We're still doing one-on-ones right now. It's inefficient, but Bernetta, her superpower is being able to connect with people quickly and to remember things about them, remember their name, remember their family, whatever their situation is. So it allows her to immediately make an interpersonal connection with that person. I'm not as good at it, so that's why she does it. But walk them through the steps. Then you'll take your first workout. After that, you come in, you don't need to let us know in advance when you're coming in. We like to know for your first session or two when you're coming in, so that way we can make sure there's an extra coach here. We can make sure that you have a great experience. And little things mean a lot, right? Like Kwansu was visiting our studio and he greeted people at the door. So now I do it. Bernetta does it. One of our coaches does it. We always have somebody at the door. We know their names. We know their kids' names. We know their dogs' names. You know something about them. One of the things that we heard at the last mastermind. Hold on, cool.
Yeah.
I'll get you.
I have a question too. I haven't added in.
Okay. You want it now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop.
So when you're calling them, it's the most important thing to ask them a simple question about why now? Why did you reach out? I'm so excited to meet you. Let them talk, because half the time, that one little sentence about, you know, what are you looking to gain? You know, if they ask what your prices are, well, they depend, they range, what your goals are. It's easier when we meet. But ask a question and shut up and listen, because people are going to want to talk to you. And the more you're just listening, sometimes when we were sitting here, we got phone calls and like people spill their guts. It's time for me. I'm taking care of an elderly woman. And then when she walked in to our orientation, I literally went around the counter and I hugged her because I knew who she was, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, a face to a name. And I, you know, because she spilled her beans to me.
Yeah.
Nobody else knew in that studio. And I ran around and hugged her. So
Who was that?
do
Say
they
the
know
first name.
anybody? Marie.
Yeah, no,
I'm curious.
Yeah. So she's so sold into us, but it was It was the rapport that we built, like ask a question and shut up, listen.
Now, if
We-
I can just throw something in there, guys. You know, Dylan, when I would visit your location for the first time, one of the things that I had trained myself was that whether it's my location or anyone else's, right? I just decided, well, if I'm going to go in there, I'm going to play the part of a Fit Body Bootcamp owner, and I'm going to treat this place like it's my own and treat everybody like they're my clients. So what I noticed was that, in a lot of the Fit Bodies I go to, they rarely do the thing where they actually stand and wait for the people to come in, greet them, and I'm kind of like the only Fit Body on Long Island that I think actually really does it well is Stephen Briscoe. And a client steps in the door and they can't get 2 feet in there without somebody screaming, "Welcome to Fit Body," and it's like, and now they expect it every time. So now, Zach, I'll tell you, when I go to yours, I do that.
What'd you say,
I do
Zach?
that.
I opened the door for him.
Yeah,
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Now they
Now-
expect it.
they expect it now,
Right.
and if you're not there, they're disappointed.
When he
Oh,
was traveling, they're like, who's opening the door for us? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill him.
Now, Zach, what I can tell you is that I've been there when you're not there, because
I know.
there's one coach,
Yep.
and I'll be the guy standing there
Yeah.
by the front door greeting people. So the
That's
one
the
coach
challenge.
is now
That's the challenge in the
busy,
morning.
So like I said, there's got to be a process in place now.
Yeah.
Other boot camps on Long Island, I can tell you, they don't do that, and I try my best to do that when I'm there, and I kind of do it just, I guess, to set an example, and as well as also practice, right? What I'm going to do at my studio, and I need to show my team what they're supposed to be doing.
I think the challenge is when you have one person at 5:30 in the morning, when it doesn't justify having 2 coaches yet, at least for us, because we range from between 15 to 25 people. So some days, you can have 2 coaches, but we're not at the point where you constantly need 2. So, and then people come in and they want to talk, and, you can't just ignore the person you're talking to and then go greet somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's
right. And so I totally get that challenge, but do you see that one simple gesture is the difference between strong growth and stagnant growth? Now, Dylan's at 200, and it's because he's providing that type of experience. So, and I want Dylan to go back to all the other stuff he's doing and providing in terms of the loving experience.
well, it's one of those things that it's like pornography. You know it when you see it, but you can't really define it. I know that's not the best analogy, but it's everything, man. It's talking to people on the mat. It's celebrating their victories, hugging them. It's touching them, calling their names, use their name constantly. Like Bernetta could do her own seminar on showing the love. It's everything. You cannot be an owner that sits behind a desk and expects people to love you. Get up from behind the desk, get to know these people, touch them, put a name to a face, be involved in their lives. I mean, I know it's funny. I'm a car guy, so I know when people, like, I see them coming in the parking lot, and now at this point, we had a woman come in and she's like, "I drove my monster truck and you weren't here," because they want to mess me up, right? They want to see if they can fool me. But they get to know them. Let them get to know you. Show your weaknesses. Show your flaws. We're not perfect, and we never pretend to be.
Yeah.
They look up to you because you're the fitness person. Whether it's you, or your coach, or whoever it is, you have to have flaws. You have to be relatable. And one of the things that we've found, and there's 2 books that I'll recommend. One is Never Lose a Customer Again. Have to read it, period, end of story. And then the other one was Where Did That Customer Go? Where Did That Customer Go? Read those 2 books. Very, very useful. It's just endless learning and endless figuring out what makes these people tick.
Have a curious nature about them. Just
and shut up.
I think I have a problem shutting up. So I
Yes,
do want to.
but you're better. You're better.
Half of these
I am.
women are running lies for everybody else except themselves and for their children, for their husbands, for their jobs. So when they come in and they download, more so on the woman end, not so much on Dylan's end, but they just, and you just lean in. I mean, literally the body language of leaning in when someone is talking to you and no one else is in the room but them. As traffic is coming in, as people are greeting you and people saying hi, you don't turn away from them. You do not. You are engaged with them and no one else is in that room.
Right.
The
And yes,
music's
as
not
Matt,
loud, you could hear them.
as Matt Wilbur said it very eloquently, and I don't know if this is his or someone else's. He says, "People cancel memberships; they don't cancel relationships."
Yeah, I mean, they'll cancel relationships if they move, but otherwise, we have people. I don't remember who it was. I think it was the guy from San Antonio who said that he had people canceling their cable TV so they could continue to pay him. I think I'm looking in Zach's fridge.
No,
Yep.
you are.
Yeah.
We're swimming in his water. Look,
Yeah, I see your water.
Yep.
It's Alex Dominguez.
It was
He's,
Alex.
the young hotshot who, inside of the first year of opening in a really, really, what I would say, demographically challenged area. He was at about I want to say 180 clients paying $167, and these people have no money.
Yeah.
And that speaks to how he's able to deliver a really great client experience.
It's the relationships. Dawn,
let me go back.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, I
was
wanted to
just
go back.
gonna say, if Dawn has not, I don't know, you said you were a Fit Body Bootcamp member at one point, and it sounds like there's a good amount near you. If it were me, I would go visit again as an owner. Everybody, you can always pop in, say, I reach out to people and say, hey, do you mind if I come to work out at your studio? Nobody's ever said no. And see, and I won't speak for Quan, but I'd be willing to bet $100 that he's done this. When you experience their facility, what do I like? What do I not like? What would I do? What would I not do? Take as much away, positive and negative, from every Fit Body you visit. And it sounds like there are good and not so good Fit Bodies down by you.
Yeah, well, the location that I'm a member at, like I said, they opened February 2nd of 2017. By December of 2017, they had 200 members. They did not open with a challenge. They opened with regular members on a corporate Groupon, $47 for 28 days.
Mm-hmm.
Then they offered a charter membership. I'm still a charter member. There's not very many. We call ourselves OGs. There's not very many of the OGs left, but I still pay $97 a month.
Yeah,
but I've been paying $97 a month for that long to them. But then they had their first challenge for 4 weeks. It was just a 4-week thing because they did keep in mind that there was spring break coming up, and they knew if they did a 6-week challenge, nobody would hold out for the last 2 weeks of it. So,
right.
But they have 450 members.
Wow.
In our location.
Yeah, they're kicking butt.
The class times.
Are we talking tequila?
No, Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill and Tequila kind of mentored Sugar Hill a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of walked them through it.
The owners of Sugar Hill are Derek and Lisa Rackley. Derek Rackley played for the Atlanta Falcons. He's from Minnesota. He played for the Atlanta Falcons for 7 years and for the Seattle Seahawks for 3 years.
That's serious.
Lisa, his wife, is from the Atlanta area, and she was a Falcons cheerleader. They're super nice people, but Lisa was a member at the Buford location where Shay owns. Shay and T own Buford. And then she liked it a lot, and she got Derek to come in, her husband, and they liked it, and then they became friends with the owners of Tequila because the owners of Tequila were the original owners of Buford. So they were mentored by them in their opening, and so yeah, and they do a fabulous job. They have there are a lot of members that go to Sugar Hill where I go that were previous members at another location called Flowery Branch that's a little bit north of here, of there. People are actually, some people are driving an hour just to go to the location I go to.
Wow.
Well, they're doing
Can I
something
jump in
right.
there? Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking Tequila, and Tequila is a great example. That's where the last Rockstar Coaching Academy was. They run just an amazing program over there. And Don, like Dylan said, and Dylan, you're right. I have met almost every owner on Long Island except for 2 that are kind of off the reservation. And I've visited just about all of them as well. And and I highly recommend, Don, not just once or twice, but engage them on a regular basis. I talk to Zach. I haven't talked to regularly lately, but I engage Stephen, Amanda, Dennis and Bayshore. We're always talking and collaborating. So I highly recommend you do the same. If we can go back to the beginning part, Dylan, you talked about what you would do different. The thing that I learned and then I took note of with a lot of owners who either struggled or did very well, and one of the difference being is they actually had a team when they started, because a person who goes into this thinking they can be a one-man show is asking to close their doors in just a few months, because I can promise you it's damn near impossible. Dylan had his wife. They were working together. And how hard it was. But could you imagine if he were there by himself? It'd be impossible.
It's shocking. Now, don't forget, keep it in the back of your head that I opened another one already. So I had some semblance of how hard it was going to be. And it was harder. Part of the reason it was harder is because it's a bigger business now, if you will. There's more to it. When Jim and I opened, it was, hey, you've got some people, I've got some people, we'll paint the walls, and then people will show up. We didn't really go into marketing too deeply. We didn't go into nutrition deeply. It was, hey, come work out, we're cool. And we were. And it worked. But it's more sophisticated now. I mean, we opened in April of 16. So Facebook marketing is 10 times harder than it used to be. The competition is double or triple what it used to be. Like I said before, I literally have a burn boot camp 2 miles away, and they opened right around the same time as us. So there's so much more in running the business than there used to be, that I would absolutely at least open with a coach. Quan, you.
And I want to make a comment about that, Dylan, about the burn boot camp. I remember when you first heard they were going to open up, you were very, very concerned, right? Yeah. Now, months after that, you haven't even mentioned them at all, because you realize they're really not your competition anyway, because you're doing something that provides so much more to your clients and providing the love and care over and above what Burn Boot Camp does. And I think that's a great example,
Yeah, I was terrified for a while about Burn because they're so similar. And I'll say 2 things. Number one, we have heard through the grapevine, number one, that they're not doing so well. So, but more seriously, they have they're after different people. They pull from a different area. They are younger. They're fitter. So as a bit of background, Dawn, in Scarsdale, we had a very athletic group of people, and we have found that in Wilton, we have attracted a demographic that's older. I would say 5 to 10 years older on average, and we have a lot of people who are very heavy with very bad knees, bad backs. So one of the things we do, and going back to the providing love and care, every single workout we do, we already bake in modifications. So we make sure that everybody is super, super well taken care of. Bernetta and I say this all the time. Where would Jennifer go If she didn't come to us, she would not go anywhere. And then another thing that Martin. Sorry, this is why my wife is here. She remembers names like a steel trap. Martin Rooney said at the last mastermind, which really, really stuck with me. How many people do you need to run your boot camp? Like, to be successful, how many people? 1,000? 600? And for me, I think a number that I really could live with and be very comfortable with is 350. So he said, you mean to tell me there aren't 350 people that want to be with you? So you could have a Fit Body boot camp a mile away, and they can have 350 and you can have 350. So there's plenty of people on the planet. As long as you're offering something that's a little bit different, and that's where, Dawn, you and Barrett have to figure out your niche, how you present yourselves, what your specialty is. Maybe you're more hardcore than the other Burn Boot Camp and the other Fit Body. Maybe you're providing more love and modifications. Maybe you're taking people who, like we are, really they're not going to a spin class, these people. They can't sit on a bike. So, you have to figure out your twist on it all. And that's one of the things I like about Fit Body is we're not forced to be X. We can be X-1 or X+1.
What we also do is during the orientation, our welcome packet is literally our vision, our mission, and our core values. But I literally take them through and say, well, this is what you get here at Wilton Fit Body Bootcamp, right? Unlimited bootcamp sessions. You don't have to sign up for in advance. How cool is that? Because we don't require signups. The other thing we say is you get the benefits of one-on-one coaching at the fraction of the cost. So depending on how busy the sessions are, you'll see 2 coaches on the mat. Like, oh, wow. Like, first of all, they're getting 2 coaches. What I've started to hone in on is we're a transformation studio.
Yeah.
We're not a gym.
Right.
And I literally say to this, like, hey, you said you belong to LA Fitness. If you don't show up for a couple of days, do they call you? Ring, ring, Dawn, we haven't seen you in a couple of days. You see them think, and they're like, no, they don't do that. And I look them dead in the eye, and I'm like, we're going to call you.
Yeah, and we do. We reach out to people who don't show.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the accountability, the one-on-one training, which is personal training. You drop $175 for personal training. The nutrition, you'll also drop another $200. I literally laid out an email to a girl who said, this is too expensive. And I said, really? I said, a nutritionist would cost you this because she's got serious bowel syndrome movements. And everything I've told her to eat clean, eat like whole foods. She's like, everything you've told me, the doctors told me. And I'm like, and so I laid out an email. I'm like, this was personal training. This is nutrition. Where are you going to get this for $167? She literally walked in and handed me her credit card across the counter. Didn't say a word to me. It was an email.
Barrett has a question real quick. What is it?
I was just wanting to know, like, on the operation end, what's your biggest resource hog?
My biggest resource hog.
On the operations end?
You ready?
Yeah.
2 words.
Oh, you know what they are.
Quan, you want to guess what our biggest resource hog is? Club ready.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, and the thing you guys were talking about is like, we don't have to check in. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
Zach loves Club Ready.
I love Club Ready.
Are you
now.
kidding me?
No, he loves it.
I love
We just lost him because
The
Who
amount of
are you and what have
reports.
you done with that?
I know, I'm different now. It's so good. It's so easy.
Let's just drop Zach.
I just wish we could combine FitPro Tracker with Club Ready, but now I'm at a FitPro Tracker because whatchamacallit tells us not to use it the way it should be used for emails and contact because we're going to go to spam. So I'm not too much of a fan of that.
so you know what?
Zach, why don't you
Wait.
explain to us, like, really quick, what it is about Club Ready you love so much?
So I love how every little detail. So I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at my past invoices. Instantly on my page, I can see who's late instantly. I'm looking at where I am in terms of Fit Body across all Fit Bodies, what my rank is, how much EFT I've made this month, new trials. It tells you instantly on the homepage. This month I brought in this much dollar amount in trials. This week we brought in this much in trials. We have, what's up?
But Zach, your invoices are a day behind. So clients will say to you, or you'll get a text from a client going, hey, my credit card bounced. And they know it before you do. That's okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, we give it 3 days anyway because it's gonna Club Ready runs it for 3 days straight. So we just let it run for 3 days and we don't contact them until that's over. Because
Yeah,
you
but
know
then they
whether
come out and tell you.
Okay, hold.
Yeah.
All right.
Go back to Barrett's question.
So
usually the clients don't notify us that their cards either they come in because they had an expired card or their card got stolen and they just volunteer to give us the card, or we reach out to them eventually after we see it the next day. And then if it's an insufficient funds issue, it runs it for 3 days. Either it takes care of itself or then we reach out after 3 days to give them a little leeway. And usually it's a paid issue. People need to get paid,
Right.
Friday, I tend to run cards again on Friday because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll run the card. It'll get rejected. And then you run it on Friday. A lot of people get paid on Friday and that work,
All right. So just to, I'm starting to run up against the time crunch. So I want to answer Barrett's question. I think even Zach will admit we have divergent views. I'm ready to throw Club Ready out the window, but either way, there's a steep learning curve. There's a lot of stuff to do, and it takes time to understand. We use a different system in Scarsdale, so what I would tell you to do is get on as many webinars and as many calls, get on the trainings, and spend your time learning it, because it's not Windows, right? It's not an Apple. It takes some time to understand it. So that is our biggest resource hog.
Okay. Yeah, like the location that Dawn goes to, they still use Zen Planner.
Pretty much everybody in the Atlanta area that they were on the Zen Planner platform. When HQ switched to Club Ready, they all went rogue. They could say, we are the crew that went rogue, and they are still rogue. And they refused to switch from Zen Planner. And hey, guess what? HQ refused to switch from Zen Planner too, because all their invoicing is still done through Zen Planner. So
yeah, we were using Zen Planner. I would prefer it.
Either.
Dylan, I know you guys don't have people book, and we don't make people book. We request that they book on the Club Ready team members app. So it's not almost half of the people book, half of the people show up on the iPad and check in. But you will make sure that they check in, and then you see their lost sheep report, right? And now you know who's not coming, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that report too. I think that's a really good tool.
But did you notice that when they built the special FBBC at the bottom of the automations, at the bottom of the setup, did you notice that they built a special FBBC check-in for us?
On which app?
Club Ready.
If you go to reports,
yeah,
and this is off topic, but
Sorry,
if you go to reports, you go all the way to the bottom, there's a special Fit Body Bootcamp one.
Yeah.
Those only track members and not trials.
Well, no,
that's count milestones, right?
No, not even that, because there's two kinds of check-ins. You could check into a session, or you could check into the studio.
Right. That's
the two are separate.
a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Quan had something to ask or say.
I think, the biggest thing that I'm getting in from like your experience, and this is something that I'm really focusing on getting, just fixated in my head, is making sure that the clients have that awesome experience. Because if they don't, then you're just another workout place.
It doesn't matter.
So
everything else is secondary. It's all about the experience and everything, not just the workout, but you're right. It's the experience. Everything else, you figure it out. You just make it work.
Yeah, like knowing details about an individual, I think, helps you to build that relationship. If you know things about their family, and if you're talking to them, making sure that if they went on vacation and you want to know how things went, making sure you communicate that to them. And I want to have my coaches and my admins be very particular about engaging clients, remembering details about them, so that, when it comes time, they're not just going to be like, it was nice, it was a great workout, I think I want to try something else, because now they have a real relationship with you guys. You know things about them, maybe they know things about you as well. so much more than just a workout. And the coaches, they have to know that what they're doing, their job is much more than running sessions, you know?
Right.
So Quan,
one
are
of
you
the
going to be
things-
the one there greeting people at 5:30? Because your admin's not coming in that early, right?
No, I will be greeting people at the door.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the my session guidelines that I posted to the Snort page. There are a couple bullets in there that specifically state that as clients are coming in, coaches should avoid huddling together on the floor because because what that looks like is you don't care.
Oh, of
So
course. They got to
one
be
person
going with
has to
plan.
stand by the door, right? And I make sure, like in the bullet points, you know, if you're not sure about exercises, all that needs to be hashed out the day before. Because you can't be spending time doing that before they come in, during the time they come in, because that takes away from the client experience.
Yep, it takes in between. We do it between the hours of 10 and 4. The coaches talk about exercises.
Right. So Dawn, I'm gonna hop. Oh, you got a cat. I'm gonna hop off in just a couple of minutes, but I wanted to. One thing that they said at Mastermind that I absolutely positively loved, and Quan will probably remember who it was. Somebody gave us the acronym of Ford, family, occupation. What's R? Recreation. So what do they do for fun? And D, dreams. FORD. If you know those 4 things, if you know 3 of those 4 things or 2 of those 4 things, you've got them. So think about the acronym, and we put we're starting to, but we're putting there's a way to pin a note to the top in FitPro Tracker. So we literally are putting FORD in there. Family names, you know, somebody's died recently, their kids' names, their dog, and then what they do for a living, what they do for fun, surfing. Yeah, a lot of surfing in Connecticut.
Tell them we send flowers.
Oh, and we send flowers every time somebody passes. Every time there's an event, we make sure we send flowers. And then D is dreams. What is their goal? What do they want to do in life? All of those 4 things, if you can grab 2 or 3 of those 4 things, you've got them.
Yeah, I don't recall who that was, but I recall that too. I think
Yeah, I don't
that's
remember
a
who
great
it was.
acronym to use.
Dylan, what are you guys running for marketing right now?
In terms of what are we selling?
Yeah, no, you're doing everybody's doing the 21 for 21. Or are you guys doing something different?
We are going to do a 21 for 47 fit for the holidays that starts on December 2nd. We're going to do a 28 for 28 after the new year, and then 2 separate challenges, one for members and one for non-members after the new year.
Are you going to do the New Year, New You, the 8-week?
No.
No?
Not doing
You didn't like the 10-week?
I like it. It's a long story. I'm more comfortable with what we're doing. If you want to have a call offline, if you want to talk offline later, I'm happy to talk.
I got a question too. We're gonna open. Looks like we're gonna end up opening mid-December, which is the worst time on the planet to do it. But we're having to already pay rent for the last 2 months, getting ready to write another check in December, and so it's like we just got to pull the trigger at some point in time. Do you guys have any tips on
What are you guys open with?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, we're kind of going back and forth, kicking it around right now. We were kind of originally thinking about doing a charter membership and doing 2 weeks free for the last month of December, and then giving them a challenge, and then selling a challenge on top of it. So the charter
6-week or 4-week?
So we have the old, not the newfangled New Year, New You plan. We have the 6-week New Year, New You plan from last year. I've got all the documents, all the ads, all the everything from that. So what we were planning on possibly trying to do is closing some founding memberships, giving them the last 2 weeks of December for free if they sign up for a founding membership. And then starting to sell the New Year, New You plan as soon as we open, start selling that and sell that the last couple of weeks of December, so people will sign up for January for that, and then do the 6 week.
When would you start it? When would you start the 6 week?
January 1st.
Well, no, it would probably be a week or two.
I say January 1st.
Well, because January 1st is a stupid day to do it,
Yeah.
you know, but.
No.
Yeah, we're closed on New Year's.
Can I throw something in there? I think that at a minimum, you should wait a couple of weeks after January 1st because
so
people are not.
Yeah.
People are still detoxing from the holidays. They're going to want some time to plan out, their new, New Year's resolution, whatever it is. And that's why they start the New Year's New You challenge on January 20th. Because
That's when it
starting
started?
right on January 1st is not
don't.
the best time.
No, wait. Quan's
Yeah.
right. You got to wait. We're waiting even longer than that.
Also.
But yeah, wait. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't.
That's
don't do it
definitely the
January.
hard date with it, January 20th.
I don't know what the New Year New You challenge start date
It
is.
is.
I
We're
don't know.
doing it 'cause
January
we loved this one. It was so easy. With Matt Wilbur just copying emails and the social media posts, and the challengers love the emails that he writes for them motivationally and with education that are in them, and it was really good, I thought.
Yeah, I think the 10-week challenge was great. I have no complaints about it. I have some complaints about it, but they're all minor. I'm doing something different, which is why I'm not doing New Year New You. I'll probably do the 10-week challenge next fall. I'll probably just go with HQs.
Gotcha.
All right, I gotta hop
Cool.
off. I apologize. Barrett, if you have any questions, or Dawn, just let me know. We can hop on a call. I'm happy to do whatever I can to help. Zach, if you want to talk some marketing stuff at another time,
Cool.
shoot me a message. And Quan, I
Thanks.
talk to you all the time. Whatever. All right,
good.
thanks, guys. Have a great night, or
Have a
whatever.
great
Thank you, buddy.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.